Hello everyone, this is Agent Russ and welcome back to the channel. In the last episode, we gave our dummy its first real enemy AI. Now combat feels much more alive, but enemy death is still not quite right yet. At the moment, our death flow is still player-oriented. When an entity dies, the DeathSystem adds death and also adds a respawn timer directly. That works for the player, but enemies usually need a different life cycle. So in this episode, we are going to add a dedicated enemy death cleanup and respawn path, while keeping the player respawn path intact. First, we are going to create a new component. We are going to call this file EnemyRespawn.js. Then we are going to type export class EnemyRespawn extends component constructor, and inside the constructor we're going to say home x equals 0, home y equals 1, home z equals 0, corp seconds equals 1.2, respawn seconds equals 5.0. Then we're going to call the super. After that, we will say this.homex equals homex, this.homey equals homey, this.homez equals homez. And we're also going to say this.corp seconds equals corp seconds, this.respawn seconds equals respawn seconds, this.timer equals 0, this.hidden equals false. This component stores everything the enemy respawn flow needs. We keep the home position directly in the component, plus how long the corpse should stay visible and how long the enemy stays gone before returning. We also store a small runtime timer and a hidden flag, so the respawn system can manage the full enemy lifecycle without touching player respawn logic. Next, we are going to add this into dummy factory. Inside the dummy file, we are going to import EnemyRespawn. After that, we are going to scroll down. Where we check if hostile, we will say world.addComponent, entity, new, EnemyRespawn. And in here, we're going to set the home x to x, home y is y, home z is z, corp seconds is 1.2, and respawn seconds is 5.0. So now hostile dummies know where they belong, how long they stay visible after death, and when they should come back. Passive dummies stay simple, but hostile enemies now have the extra data needed for a proper death and respawn cycle. Next, we are going to go to DeathSystem. Inside here, we're going to make some changes. We are going to import player control and enemy respawn here. And right under here, we will say if world.hasComponent target player controlled, world.addComponent target new respawn timer, and we can get rid of this. Let's also make a comment here to make it more clear. So we'll say player keeps using the old respawn timer flow. And then we're going to make another comment here and say enemies use their own corpse plus respawn cycle. And for that, we're going to say constant EnemyRespawn equals world.getComponent with target and EnemyRespawn. If EnemyRespawn.timer equals EnemyRespawn.corpSeconds plus EnemyRespawn.respawnSeconds, EnemyRespawn.hidden equals false. And the rest is gonna stay the same. This is the main architecture upgrade for the episode. Before, every death entity was pushed through the same generic respawn timer path. Now we split that behavior properly. The player still uses the old respawn timer. Enemies use their own corpse linger and respawn cycle. That makes the death flow much more scalable. Next, we are going to create a new system file. We are going to call this file EnemyRespawnSystem.js. This file will have system, query, EnemyRespawn, death, transform, health, mesh, velocity, enemy AI, health bar visibility, hit flash, and event health changed. After that, we are going to type export class EnemyRespawnSystem extends system. We will have the update function, and inside the update function, we're going to say constant entities equals query dot entities with world EnemyRespawn transform and health. Then we're going to have a for loop here. We're going to say for constant e of entities. If it's not world dot has component death continue constant respawn equals world.getComponent EnemyRespawn constant transform equals world.getComponent transform. Constant health equals world.getComponent with health. Constant mesh comp equals world.getComponent mesh. Constant velocity equals world.getComponent velocity. Constant AI equals world.getComponent enemy AI. Constant visibility equals world.getComponent health bar visibility. Constant hit flash equals world.getComponent hit flash. Then we're gonna say respawn.timer equals math.max 0 respawn.timer minus delta time. Constant height threshold equals respawn.respawn seconds. If it's not, respawn.hidden and respawn.timer less than or equals to height threshold. If mesh comp question mark dot mesh comp dot mesh dot visible equals false. And after this if statement, we're gonna say respawn dot hidden equals true. Next, we will say if respawn dot timer greater than 0, continue. Transform dot x equals respawn dot home x. Transform dot y equals respawn dot home y. Transform dot z equals respawn dot home z. Then we will say health dot current equals health dot max. If mesh comp question mark dot mesh comp dot mesh dot visible equals true. If velocity dot x equals 0, velocity dot y equals 0, velocity dot z equals 0. If AI dot has aggro equals false, AI dot state equals idle, AI dot attack timer equals 0. If visibility dot show timer equals 0. If hit flash dot timer equals 0. Respawn dot timer equals 0. Respawn dot hidden equals false. World dot remove component dead. World dot events dot emit event health change. Entity is E. Current is health dot current. Max is health dot max. So this system handles the whole enemy death lifecycle. First, the enemy stay visible for a short corpse window. Then it gets hidden for the rest of the respawn timer. And finally, once the timer reaches 0, it returns to its home position with full health and clean state. We also reset a short-lived visual and combat state, so the enemy does not come back with leftover aggro, hit flash, or health bar timers. Next, let's go to main.js. Inside here, we're going to import EnemyRespawnSystem. After that, we are going to scroll down. Right under here, we're going to say world.addSystem, new EnemyRespawnSystem. And let's make some comments here. So this one is player respawn path, and this one is enemy corpse plus respawn path. This placement keeps all death and respawn lifecycle systems together. The player still uses the player-specific respawn flow. Enemies now use their own dedicated cleanup and return logic. That keeps the engine much easier to reason about. This episode does not need any CSS changes. This is a pure gameplay system episode. We are not adding a new UI layer here. We are just making enemies behave like proper game entities when they die and come back. Before we test the game, let's go back to dummy factory. Right here for testing, I want to reduce the health from 999 to something like 100, so it will take less time to kill the enemy. Now let's go ahead and save it. I'm going to make the game screen bigger. I'm going to walk towards the dummies and fight the hostile dummy until its health reaches 0. We just confirm it dies and stay visible, and then it disappears after the corpse linger. We waited for the respawn timer and confirm it returns at original spawn point with full health. It can also aggro and attack again. Now let's go ahead and test the player death and confirm player respawn still works. And that's episode 37. We now have a proper enemy death flow instead of pushing every dead entity through the same player-oriented respawn path. Enemies can die, linger briefly, disappear, and respawn back at their home position with clean state. That makes combat feel much more complete, and it sets us up nicely for the next step, giving enemies actual rewards so killing them feeds back into the RPG loop through the loot drops. If this was helpful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. I'm Agent Russ. See you next time.